I'm all right, Joe. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. How's things been going?
Um, yeah, it's been a short but very long week for me, but things have been going all right. Um, well, work-wise, yeah, all right. So far, so good. Um, I've been back and forth with until my camera back on. Um, I've been back and forth with Max actually, which has been good. I know he's been busy. I actually needed to reach out to you and just ask you a couple of questions. That's all. Um, I have been kind of doing my own kind of like trying to do a bit of deal sourcing,
Yeah.
and I was really close to kind of like getting someone to say yes to me. And it was like my phone rang, and I went back to my phone rang, and I disappeared for I don't know an hour or two or whatever. Went back, and the deal had gone, and it was
Ah,
agreed. But I guess I was lucky because I was talking to Mel, and she was like, you know what? It takes a lot of people. It takes a long time for people to even get how close that you have. So well done to you. Kudos to you. But what it's got me to do, though, is like go through some of the work that we've done over our last few Zooms and stuff, and sort of as I'm in my prep stage, just highlight what I do like, because obviously I've got to have a little bit of a passion for doing it as well, and locations and areas. And so I've just kind of been doing that. I spent yesterday and today, in my spare time, just really deciding on, okay, if I'm going to do this, what sort of areas or locations would I be really happy with, and also look at good areas that, because it doesn't have to be like London based as we talked about, whatever, but you know stuff where it's close to a university, or a project, like a HS2. It could be in the middle of, I don't know, the outskirts of Luton as an example, but where I feel comfortable and go into. So I've just been really just doing that really as I'm in my prep time, and trying to go back and forth with Max and doing some personal analytics, as you say, due diligence, just to see if it works in my head or it works on paper. That's where I'm at.
that's good. Sounds like
Yeah.
you're making the right steps, and you're really taking the time to figure out if this is actually for you or not, which is good.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
think a lot of people just hear, money and shiny penny syndrome and all that, and just jump in, and then after a week or two, 3 weeks, it's not working and not making the money, and they're like, oh, this is not for me.
yeah, yeah. It's not going to be easy, but and as we talked about in my first call with you, it's not going to be easy. But if you do put it in, and I see this from yourself and Debbie as well, is you can make it happen, and you don't need to have masses of properties. I mean, I've talked to guys or seen guys who have like massive portfolios, and I've got 25 portfolio properties here, and I've got 1,000 units here, and you see them brandishing on Instagram, but you can have five or six and just get to the next stage of where you want to be. And
Yeah.
that's where my thought process is. So I'm coming in as, you know, if this deal thing does work with Max, for example, what would be the ideal sweet spot where I could then kind of pause, as we talked about, paying your bills, and really soak this in and get to where else you want to be. So it could be development, or commercial, or whatever it is, but where I'm starting here, where do I want to be? And that's where I've been at the whole sort of week or so.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. And I think the biggest thing, like what you're saying is really good. And the biggest thing that, because we have a lot of people come on and say, yeah, I want to start this and I want to go into that, I want to do that. And it's all well and good. First thing you need to do is just start.
Yeah,
And this is why rent to rent's like the best thing ever, because it's in the grand scheme of property, it's very, very low risk in terms of if a deal goes south, it's a couple of grand lost. But if
yep,
you've done it on a BRR, you're
yep,
looking at tens of twenties, 30s grand lost. You know what I mean?
yep.
So when it comes to rent, it's the best strategy to test the waters, see if you enjoy property, see if it's for you.
Mhm.
And if you lose money, you lost a couple of grand. You've not lost, like I said, a lot of money. Even if you just
Yep,
bought a property and go, it's not for me, I need to sell it again,
yeah,
you're still losing tens of thousands by the time you got all your stamp duty and capital gains and all this sort of stuff if it falls in.
exactly.
Um, so
Yeah,
this is why rent to rent's so good. There's a lot of people who worry, oh, I've lost 200 quid this month. It's like, yeah, but next month you might make a grand. Like, it happens. It goes up and downs, peaks and troughs, but You just need to start. That's the biggest advice I can give people. Just need to start.
Yeah.
And you'll figure your path will change. The amount of people come to us say, "Yeah, I want to start this, I want to move on to this, now I want to do that." The path changes all the time. 'Cause me and Debbie are very similar. Wanted to get into this, then we wanted to go into the BRIs, and there's still an element of that. We still kind of want to do it, but we just really like this as well. We really, when we started property, we didn't think we'd go down the teaching route and helping people route and all that. We thought, we'll get a few properties and we'll scale and we'll grow and then we'll go and do this, this, this. The path changes. The
Yeah.
path changes. You just got to kind of start
Yeah.
and see
Yeah.
where you go.